What's going on, everybody? My name is ParaDiddlePete, and today we are talking about something that everyone thinks that they know how to play, but they actually don't. Let's get to the video. Okay, so today we're talking about one of the most overlooked percussion instruments that's out there, right next to cymbals and tambourine. And yes, it is indeed the triangle. Okay, now you might be sitting here thinking like, oh, it's a triangle, how hard can it be? There's certain aspects of the triangle and how it functions and what you need to do in order to get the best possible sound. I will agree with you, it is incredibly easy to play the triangle, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you're probably not going to get a very good sound. And that's what we're talking about today, because that's all that really ever matters, is did you get a good sound, or did you get the sound that you wanted? So, just like always, what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into 3 little parts: how to hold the triangle, where to play on the triangle, and how to do a roll on the triangle. So, let's go ahead, let's get to it. How to hold the triangle. Okay, so let's talk about clamps, how to hold the triangle, and whether or not you should just clamp it onto the music stand and call it done. There are a lot of different types of clips that are out there. Here are just 3 that I personally have. Some are good, some are not so good. But what is most important is that you have the least amount of touching happening to the actual triangle. That's why using fishing line or some type of string is usually best. Using some type of shoestring or your finger or something like that that's going to actually dampen the instrument is not going to be very good, and it's actually going to hurt your production of sound. Most triangle clips have 2 different strings on them. The actual line and then like a little safety line in case the other one breaks. This is really good, so that way if you're in the middle of a performance, the string doesn't break and the triangle fall and hit the ground. That'd be really bad. Some triangle clips only come with 1 string, and that's okay. You can always replace it when just add another one, or in this case with this one, what I would suggest is to actually untie it and then just loop it back around, so that way you have 2 loops, a safety one and then one to actually hold on to the triangle itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how we're actually going to hold the triangle. So you see how on one side of the triangle there is an open part? That open part needs to be pointed to your non-dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to make sure that this is pointed to my left hand. If I was left-handed, I would flip it around. Okay, then you're going to get your clip and you're going to make sure that the main string and the safety string are both on, as you can see right here. See if I can get that to zoom in or focus on it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now there's a few ways that you could hold this, but it doesn't really matter as long as your thumb is here and either your index finger or your middle finger is right there. Sometimes I like to hold it like this. I feel like I have a really strong grip on it. Sometimes I like to hold it more like this, so that way if I need to mute, I can go ahead and mute. Now, the most important part is that nothing is actually touching the triangle. The only thing that is actually touching the triangle is the string itself. I can't stress this enough. There are so many junior high kids and high school kids who will just hold the triangle like this and then just try to ding it or something like that. That's not going to get the sound that you want. Okay, generally speaking, you almost never want to clamp the actual triangle or hang it on a music stand. That's kind of like your last resort of anything that you want to do. If you're having to clamp the triangle or hang it off of a music stand, that means that you are completely preoccupied and you do not have time to pick up the triangle. If you have time to pick up the triangle and hold it up, you most definitely should. Alright, so now I see this all the time. When people go to play the triangle, they hold it down here, especially in young kids. Mom and dad don't hear with their ears, they hear with their eyes. And if they're looking for little Johnny or little Susie in the back of the percussion, trying to see if they're going to play the triangle, they want to see them actually physically play. If they see it, they'll hear it. So it's very important to actually hold up the triangle, and I like to pretend that it's like a little bullseye and you can like see the conductor through it. If you can see the conductor through it, you hold up your hand, you will always nail it and you will always be perfectly in time. This will also help keep you from getting yelled at by the director, because band directors also hear with their eyes and not so much their ears, especially when it comes to percussion equipment. Where to play on the triangle. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to hold the triangle, now it's time to talk about where exactly we are going to play on the triangle. In order to do that, you need to understand what sounds are possible with the triangle and what sound we are trying to achieve out of the triangle. When I was in college, I was given this diagram of the anatomy of the triangle, believe it or not. And it went through all the different areas and spots of the triangle that gave you the different tones and the different sounds that is possible. And then we talked about what sound we were trying to get. As you can see at the very top on the outside of the diagram, we have high overtones. Below that, we have straight tone or a bell-like. This is the tonality of the triangle. Below that, we have high overtones again. Right underneath the triangle, we have mixed overtones. This is where we are going to be primarily playing. And then to the left of that, we have a low overtone range. Inside the triangle, we have our rolling zone number 1 and a rolling zone number 2, which we'll go over later in the video. As you can tell from the diagram, there's a lot of different parts that we can play to get different types of sounds on the triangle. 2 in particular, one that's going to give us more of a precise tone and one that's going to give us more of a shimmering mixture of overtones. That shimmering mixture of overtones is exactly what we want. This is what's going to mix and meld better with just about any type of music that you're going to be playing. Now the way you're going to want to play the triangle is you are going to want to strike it not at a 90-degree angle and not directly on top, but really kind of at a midway point between those two areas. And you want to use more of an upstroke or lifted stroke that you would see off of timpani. And you want to just barely strike it. How to roll on the triangle. Okay, so as you saw in the diagram, there are 2 main places where you roll in the triangle, and it's the 2 corners that are not open. The most common place to roll in the triangle is the bottom corner. Doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. It's always going to be the bottom corner. Now, generally speaking, this is where I always roll in the triangle unless I have to put it on some type of music stand or clip it somewhere else and I'm in a real hurry and I need to reach. Theoretically, you could roll in each spot and it would sound almost identical, but it's always best to roll the same way in the same spot every single time. Now the way you're going to roll on the triangle isn't necessarily just going up and down. You need to try to hit the triangle at a little bit of an angle. Don't worry so much about the shimmering tones and making sure you're hitting exactly in the same spot. You're going so fast that it's going to be very shimmery and have a lot of overtones just naturally. Also, generally speaking, a triangle roll is usually pretty loud and happens at very loud moments of music. So there's usually a lot of other things going on in the ensemble that are kind of masking any imperfections of your stroke that you may be having. But the most important thing is that when you're rolling on the triangle, you don't do it with the stereotypical it's dinner time where you hit on all 3 sides of the triangle. You need to make sure that you stick to one of those 2 corners, preferably the lower corner. Well, that's it for the video. Don't underestimate the triangle or really any auxiliary percussion instruments for that matter. If you want to follow me on any of the social medias, they're all down below. I'm streaming a whole lot more on Twitch and even on YouTube and stuff like that, so join us if you want to be a part of that. And as always, Makla Choco, boom boom!